J-Dawg back. And we got goddamn Dawn of the Dead back for fucking part 20 or whatever the hell he's been on the goddamn channel. Most fucking viewed guest on here. I think you're the most viewed, right? You're just goddamn,
I've been on the most.
That's what I want.
I don't know about the most viewed.
Well, I mean, most.
GB, probably.
Actually, you know what's is that fellow from, like you call it, that fellow from fucking Mayhem. He beat Corpse Grinder.
Oh, wow.
I seen, because Corpse Grinder was at like 80,000 or something. Keep in mind, Corpse Grinder was like a year ago.
Yeah.
That fella, Attila, he was, in September this year? And he went like 81,000 or whatever. I was like, holy shit.
Good.
So that's my most viewed video today.
Yeah.
And then GB's at 70,000.
Gotcha, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what the numbers are on the DOTDs, but he's the most goddamn frequent visitor. Everybody else leaves behind.
What about Athanar?
Well, he's been on the 2 parts that we did, 2 separate ones for sure, and the other 3, 4 that he's on you're with, so that would put you at the same count. And I think I only did, as far as just him, me, and one-on-one, I think I only did 2 videos with him, maybe 3. Yeah, I think 2. Yeah. So, but yeah, so we did the goddamn shout out on Instagirl for fucking the Nun tour, and we're talking Nun tours, and you know, before, because you guys had a tour that I don't know, what, 6 months ago or so? Not that long ago.
I think it was November or something? Maybe.
Yeah, and you came back, and you can, come down the shop as normal, and you're kind of telling me how it went. And I thought the Big D was going to hang it up. He was pretty PO'd. Like, that was the ultimate
that was a tough tour, man.
The Bastard in the Sky fucking really kicked you.
Yeah, so Justin and I we were talking about this earlier, but I'll elaborate. So we had a bus. This was our first U.S. bus tour, and the bus was driven by this totally insane person, and he consistently did not leave on time or drive directly to the clubs, and many of the times, but the one time that I want to talk about is we were driving from Vegas to California. We had to get on a plane and go to Mexico, and in the morning, so it was a pretty tight drive. And so we told the guy, hey, we're loading out at this time. You got it, bus call basically, and we need to leave at like noon or midnight or something like that. And he's like, okay, so come midnight. Can't get in touch with him. He's not there. He shows up, I don't know, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning for us to drive. And had he put pedal to the metal and went all the way directly to LA, we might have made it. But anyway, so we fall asleep on the bus, we're sleeping, and then I feel all these turns and everything. He stops. This is our bus driver. He drives through a small community. He stops. He gets a bunch of bus parts that he said that he was helping out a friend. So he gets all these bus parts. He puts all these bus parts on our bus, and I'm like, dude, we're fucking late. Like, we gotta go. What are you doing? And he says, oh, we'll be there. So he starts driving. Cops pull us over. He stole the bus parts. So while we're on tour, the bus driver decides to steal a bunch of bus parts, and thankfully the police, I can't remember what state we were in. Thankfully the police were like, the only reason, and I heard it because I was right next to the window. He said, the only reason that we're not taking you to jail is because these guys have to finish the tour. So shout out to those police officers.
Surprised they cared. Like, maybe they're a fan of the Nun.
Well,
did have a copy of Hell's Holy Fire? Hey, can you sign this, by the way?
That would have been nice, yeah. But any case, so needless to say, so we get to LA airport something like an hour or so after our flight already left. So we ended up missing 2 of the most important shows on the tour because this knucklehead just
right?
He looked insane. But he got a summons, so he has to go and to court for these.
So he actually is, to the date, he's still in trouble.
As far as I know, I mean, he's not on my Christmas card list, so
Neither am I. I didn't get one.
But yeah, the guy was he was out of his mind. I mean, he bought so much fucking ice for this van or the bus that there was, not only wasn't there enough room in the coolers for any of the drinks that people wanted to put in there wasn't enough room in the coolers for the amount of ice he bought.
And now what was his reasoning for that?
I have no idea. I just told him I had to put a moratorium on the fucking ice. I said, from now on, do not buy any ice. I said, I don't want to see you buying any fucking ice at all, because we had ice in the sink in the kitchen and 2 bags of ice in the fucking shower because the coolers were full of ice. There were no beverages in there because there was no fucking room. But he kept buying ice. He was just out of his mind. He just pull over and just meander. We'd look at, like, we had a little tracker on his phone and be like, why are you at Dollar General? Like, we got to be at the next city, dude. He was just.
Why was he at Dollar General when you ask him? What would he say?
He would buy tchotchkes. He would buy little fucking things like that you plug in with USB stuff would light up. It would be like a wolf howling at the moon. You plug it in and it lights up behind it. That's all. Like, he would buy that. Yeah. He's in Walmart shopping, just buying shit. Just not food, not anything that anybody needs. Literally like landfill. So that was.
Did you end up yelling at the guy?
I didn't. Joe did. Jamil, the tour manager, did. Noah did. And then the coup de grace of that was we're driving back from California, where we spent 2 nights because we didn't have any shows, and we had to drive to Arizona and for the show. And in the middle of the Arizona desert, the bus breaks down. So then there's oil like everywhere. We had to rent a giant, a big ass U-Haul to put all the equipment in. And
whose pocket did that come out of?
That came out of the tour.
Okay.
I think Jamil.
Oh, okay.
And I think Jamil ended up billing the busing company. I don't know how that all worked, but and then they had to rent a big ass SUV to haul most of the people around. So Noah and I drove to Arizona, and then we had to go back to San Diego for a show, and then we drove coming home because we had to drive to Texas to pick up the van and drop up the truck, and then from Houston back to Cleveland. Noah and I drove 36 straight hours.
You just swap it on and off?
36 straight hours. Yeah, that was a really tough tour, but we got through it.
Bobby, you were almost considering like hanging it up when you got back from there. It seemed like, or at least from touring.
I'm hanging it up from touring in the United States. I mean, that was just brutal.
But 6 months later, you're jumping on this new one.
Well, I got Deicide and Deathmetal. That's a good tour.
But how does he like? Are you just changing things up differently with the bus, or the goddamn just using the
we're just using the van. You know, it's not traveling in the lap of luxury, but you know, at least I'm in control of the maintenance of the vehicle. It doesn't mean that it can't break down, but it's relatively new, low mileage, and I take it in usually right before we go on tour. So
okay,
but yeah.
Now, who set this one up? Was it you, or they contacted you, Deicide?
It was a heavy talent agency. Amos, the drummer for Deceased.
Oh yeah, okay.
He contacted us, and yeah, I thought it was a really good, like a very good package tour. Not enough bands out there satanic enough. You know, they want to do a lot of either gore or whatever. I like lyrics about Satan. So.
So if there's no Satan, it's no go.
Not necessarily. I mean, I could listen to other even heavy metal or death metal that doesn't talk about Satan. But I mean, realistically, those are the best lyrics. I mean,
but they especially now, 40 years later, bands are going to run out of shit to say if it's only the same topic.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of topics. You got Satan. You got hell. And then you can call it, Tartaros and Hades, and you got all kinds of shit.
Now, what do you think about the idea? And I mean, I guess you guys could kind of get thrown on this topic. As far as the bigger bands, people are slightly ripping on, like, especially like someone like Deicide, or just bands starting up and doing it when they're ripping on Christianity. They're like, well, it's been done a million times. Like, why not attack Judaism or Islam? Like, what would you say to that? Like,
well, well, two things for that. One, I don't know shit about those religions, and two, here in the United States, Christianity is the oppressing religion, not Judaism or Zoroastrianism or any of these other fucking stupid religions.
It's funny. It's kind of similar. But that's pretty much what Glenn's answer was.
Yeah, I mean, they're the ones that that oppress the American people the most, and try to oppress a lot of the world. Is the Christian right wings, saying that you think things, editing what you can't say, and book banning, and anti-abortion, and all this anti-everything, and you can't do all this shit all because of these nutbags and the Christian right that think that because they think it, that should be everyone thinks that way. So those are the ones that fucking piss me off the most. So
having said that, though, I mean, obviously, I'm kind of with you too. I know very little about something like Islam, but I know a little bit. For example, what I do know is that they seem to be even more strict. I mean, their women got to be covered up and stuff like that. What would be your opinion on a religion like that? Even though, for the little that you know, like, you got to be thinking this is a bag of shit.
Oh yeah, it's stupid as fuck. But I mean, still, they're not knocking on my door yet. There's only so many. You got to pick your battles. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be 100 different fucking religions in the world. I mean, I'd have to really study the fuck up on all of them to go attack them all.
Yeah.
I mean, it just as a whole, religion is just dumb. So it's not that I'm picking on this religion or that religion or Christians in general. All religion is fucking stupid, So to me, but
so in your mind, like when people ask them, when we die, if you had to you had to put your fucking life on it, what do you think happens?
Nothing. You're dead.
You're just dead and rotting. Yeah. That's kind of
it. I mean, and until there's some sort of proof otherwise, these people that.
So the people that fall shit, then they're like, okay, but where do things stem then? Something they had to start somewhere. Something created us all. Just the Big Bang Theory, evolution. I guess what is that's kind of what your stance is.
That seems a lot more realistic and logical than a virgin birth. Who the son is actually the creator, and it's try to make sense of the Bible. You're going to go out of your fucking mind. So people just take all the good bits that they like. They don't talk about the perversity, the adultery, the rape, the murder, the slavery.
Sweep that on the rug.
That's not what they meant.
Yeah.
And it says, but I'm reading it, and they go, that was written in a different time.
The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. The Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, exactly. When was the last time you've actually been kind of like confronted that way? Because like for me, for Christian shit, it's been a while, but I've been talking about they confronted you because of a t-shirt or something like that you've gotten confronted by an actual Christian. And mine was actually semi-recent. For the life of me, I can't remember what it was. And it was something brief. It was because a shirt said something. When was the last time you had something?
I think
to where you had to respond to them in any way, just either whether it been fuck off or explain anything.
The last one that I can remember, I was in college, so this has got to be 30 plus years ago, 35 years ago. Mm-hmm. Some kid, I don't know if it was, he would listen to music or a shirt or whatever I had on, and he was talking. He was some nutbag religious, person, and I remember responding with something, and I thought it was more profound at the time, but I something like I crush your God with my words, and he does nothing. He's weak, and the guys was like. He's like, I can't believe you did this.
Well, I guess, speaking of that, that's a topic we never talked about either. What is your take on somebody that listens to legitimately satanic bands, such as Nunslaughter, but they're actually Christian and go to church?
I mean, I think here in the States especially, you can think and behave however you like. If they want to be devout Christian and actually listen to good death metal, that's entirely up to them. The problem is when their beliefs try to create policy that restricts things that I want to do. So I don't care what anybody gets. I don't give a fuck. But when all of a sudden you say, like here in the United States, people don't know we've got like there are laws in communities that are based around religious beliefs, and that has to do with like no liquor sales on Sunday, or you can't buy beer in a county or a township because it's considered a dry township, and those are all based upon religious beliefs and values of a few politicians in that community, and that's where it gets fucked up. They used to call it, back in the 70s and 80s, they used to call it a sin tax. So you gotta go to buy cigarettes or alcohol
on a Sunday.
It wasn't at your normal 5, 6, 7%. It was more like closer to 10 or 12 because it's called a sin tax. So they wanted, because
I didn't even know that.
It was actually SIN, and I'm thinking, like, I want to sin every day as much as possible because of you fucking knuckleheads. So, but now they don't call it that because because when people hear that, they go, oh, well, you're bringing religion into it. But these fucking buttheads, they want to put 10 commandments at federal properties, and you're just, what are you fucking doing, people? Like, God has absolutely no place in politics.
Well, having said that, now then, there's the argument too that people say, civilization, at least in the U.S., but pretty much worldwide, is becoming less religious, less Christian than ever. But at the same token, youth is worse than ever. They're more disrespectful. People are shittier than ever. Again, this is just kind of the general consensus. Maybe not these exact words. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're less religious than we were in 1950, but yet people are more, for lack of better words, suck. Would you say you've noticed that, agree with that? And in that case, is it possible that religion is an actual necessary evil to keep these fucking stupid fucking sheep in line?
I would say that it seems to me that people have always sucked. It's not something new, but the dissemination of information at this time is a lot faster and more in depth, and that could be where it gets a little gray area. It's not that people are any worse than they were 100 years ago. It's that, one, there's more people, and two, the information is carried across the nations a lot faster. Mm-hmm. So it seems like it's happening all the time, or more than it used to. But in reality, mankind are foul. They're foul creatures. I mean, that's just what it is. There isn't as much kindness, generosity, altruism, benevolence as you would hope to live in a society. It permeates, I think, across the United States and across the world. That just people are shitty. So,
but do you think civilization, in your opinion, mankind, from even, let's say, the year 2000, so 25 years ago, and that's roughly when I first met you. So let's say, in that year I was 15 years old. Not that you're hanging around too many 15-year-olds, but 15-year-olds, and now in 2025, two adults. Would you say, as a whole, in your opinion, people are shittier today than back 25 years ago? Or would you say it's even, or?
No, I think with with every generation, everybody thinks that my generation was good.
Yeah, that's
your
true.
Generation is shit. And then when that generation gets to be my age, they'll say my generation was good. Your generation.
That's
is
100% true.
It's just going to keep going on. I mean, that's just how it is. That's called getting old. It's because a lot of shit you don't understand. Like, there's shit now that younger people are doing. I don't fucking understand.
Oh, I agree.
So it doesn't make it bad. It just makes it their thing. I mean, I'm old. There's stuff. There's sayings. There's beliefs and things that I do that a younger person, and by younger person I mean it could be 20 years old, would be like, that's old people shit. Like, that's my grandfather does that shit, or
yeah,
I can't believe you do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and also parenting. Not that I'm a parent. I don't have any kids. I don't really give a shit about kids. But parenting, they're not doing parenting correctly.
So that's what I'm saying. That kind of goes back to my original question. In that case, at least just maybe that one effect, you think parents of today are worse than they were 25 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. Like, they're doing a shittier job. And if that's the case, why do you think that is? Because actually, and I do agree. I do think that because my theory is I think it's kids raising kids.
Yeah, a lot of people are fucking that shouldn't. I mean, you get stupid people procreating.
Do you agree with my statement? I know you don't watch all my videos, but I think your mom was snorting fucking butt hash with you when she was pregnant. If you accidentally get pregnant in the year 2025, you are borderline retarded.
Well, I mean, I don't know about retarded. But,
Hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out.
Already got.
Okay. Let's just say, let's throw all the events. You were raped or incest. There's literally a morning after pill. Go get it. Or, especially if you're raped in a
I
situation.
think you're minimalizing the trauma that happens.
Oh, I get that.
And there's embarrassment too, and there's second guessing yourself. Did I do something wrong? I mean, most people that do experience that type of trauma aren't necessarily mentally equipped or even equipped at that time to make the right and proper decisions. And with a lot of the Christian fundamentalists, it's making it more and more difficult to find a morning after pill.
Okay, so that's an extreme scenario too. Let's face it, most people that are having kids, they weren't in that scenario, so that was me being oh so generous. What about the scenario then? You just, whatever, you're on a date or whatever, you get sex. Number one, there's rubbers. Number two, there's all kinds of different birth control for women. There's day, and again, there's the other thing. So we can't throw that trauma shit out there. There's the morning after pill. Again, let's say you just went out to the bar, you had a night, you met somebody, you fucked. Okay, like literally at that point, just go to the goddamn, get the morning pill. Like, that's my opinion.
Well, one, if you can afford it. Two,
$50. If you can't afford that, you have no business hanging out at the bar.
Hold on a second. People that are having sex aren't necessarily adults and have jobs. And I believe the morning after pill is something like $30 or $40 or $50 just for the one. So I mean, if I'm 14 or 15 and I decided to fuck, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I might be pregnant. I can't go to mom and be like, Mom, kick me down 50 bills. I got to go get a morning after pill.
Here's the thing, though. This is for the 14, 15-year-olds. Yeah, you go to mom and ask to kick me 50 bills. I promise you this: mom's gonna be less mad about that than when you go to mom. Hey, mom, I'm pregnant. By the way, you're on the line for the next 18 years.
Well,
There's no way my dumb ass can take care of this.
You're
kid.
thinking of it as an adult. I can guarantee you that people, especially young people, don't have the capacity or the wherewithal to rationalize a lot of those things, because you can deny it. You can be like, maybe I didn't, maybe I'm not, because you might not find out until a couple of weeks later, and you're shit, no, I didn't think I was, a lot of times education, there's people out there that think, if you chew bubble gum while you're having sex, you can't get pregnant. Those people are idiots. They shouldn't be even fucking, but that's the information that's being disseminated to them. So they don't necessarily know. There's people out there that don't know that how to get pregnant or how babies are created. I mean, there's
they actually exist, because I haven't met them.
Yeah.
Has Big D ever met that person?
Not that I'm aware of.
Don't affiliate with those kind of crowd.
No, but yeah. I mean, I've been lucky. I mean, my youthful exuberance in the past, has given me a lot of concern.
In your senior days too, you've had more ladies than I can fucking count, and I don't know if any of them knocked up. So you have some type of protocol that works. So there's some type of wisdom there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what. Again, I don't understand the youth.
So who's more? Oh yeah, we haven't been on camera since. So who's more popular, ladies, you or Jeff Walker? He says you got fucked. You saw that, right?
I did. Back in the day, it was definitely him. I don't know.
Now, would you be up for? I heard Carcass is doing I don't remember who said it. Maybe he said it. I wasn't supposed to say. Well, hey, that's on you, dude. Didn't tell me that Carcass is doing another tour. I don't know, coming up or something. I have his number. If I was to text him, hey, Jeff, want to sit down and do a goddamn part 2 interview? You, me, and Big D talk about, old stories, hanging out, goddamn in Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Would that be something you'd be into or no?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll text Jeff. I expect no reply, but I'll text him when
I highly doubt you're gonna reply. But
he replied to do the first interview. I was shocked by that. I'll ask him.
Yeah, but yeah, I haven't talked to him, and I mean it was probably 90. Was it 92, 91, 92?
Yeah, so he basically said too. Well, I mean, too. Were you on camera? Did we ask on camera? Where's his battery shirt then?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
I vaguely remember that, but his response was funny. He's like, well, "I thought you gave it to him." He's like, "It doesn't mean I don't want it back."
You should have been like, "It doesn't mean you told me you did." Not a mind reader.
But that does vaguely sound familiar.
Well, what's a Jeff Walker story that, to your memory, what you remember with Jeff? Mom making pancakes. I remember you saying that. Like, what is a story that just sticks in your head that you remember?
I did
doing
introduce
with
him.
Jeff?
I did introduce him to my mom, and
Now, okay, so why would he have been? Why did he meet Mom? I guess how did that go down that day? You hang out with Jeff?
He was hanging out in Pittsburgh, and I went and I picked him up. I can't remember.
This is what year? 1990, that Carcass Death Tour?
90, 91, something like that.
Okay.
And I went and picked him up, and I was telling him about this.
Wait, why are you picking him up, of all people, from Pittsburgh? He flies in.
He's one of the people, I'm one of the people that he knew in Pittsburgh.
So he, because of this contest, this is none of these dumbass phones and shit. Did he snail mail you letter like months before the show?
No, I saw him at a show. I don't remember where it was at. I don't know if they played. I think they did play Pittsburgh. But anyway, so like they played Pittsburgh and Chicago, and I don't know, Cleveland. I don't remember. And so I used to write Ken Owen, the original drummer, and we used to, like actually write and trade shirts and stuff like that. And so when they came through, I was hanging out with them and Carcass and Death, and Jeff and I just hit it off, and so he was spending time in Pittsburgh with a mutual friend of ours, and I don't think either of them had a car. Anyway, so yeah, he like when he got back into town, he just called me on the phone, and I don't know, just.
But when you're driving him around, isn't Ken and Bill in the car with you?
No, I don't know where they were. I think they had like a couple of days off or something, so he came into town.
So what did Mom think of Jeff Walker?
I know I introduced him because it worked out. We were driving around, and I was telling him I had the pre-Carcass recordings, and I had a live show from Alast, Belgium that was soundboard quality, and he's like, yeah, I think it was the demos. He was just like, no, you don't have those. And I was like, I got the demos. And so I says, my house is like 5 minutes from here. I said, let's go pick it up. So we went in, and I said, Mom, this is Jeff. Jeff, this is my mom. And I went upstairs. I got the cassettes, and then we left. I don't even know if they really said anything to each other. I don't even think she knew that he wasn't. That he was from the UK.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and then we hopped in the car and just drove around Pittsburgh listening to Carcass demos and live show. And
now, what do you think of the demos that he said you didn't have and you had them? Like, was he impressed? Like, whoa, shit.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, I don't recall. I mean, this is
30 years ago.
40.
Yeah.
I don't remember shit.
Yeah.
I was maybe I was 20, 19, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
And but yeah.
What do you think of his comment saying, I don't even know if I've ever even heard Nunslaughter? Like, didn't you give him play it for him? Or he's hanging out with this guy, wouldn't he have been kind of curious? Like, because even me to this day, if I'm hanging out with somebody, I'm getting along with them, I'm jiving, like, hey, I'm in a metal band too. Usually that I'll listen to. Now, if it's just some hoagie that walks up to me, hey, listen to my shit, if it looks good, I'll check it out. But if it looks like, I can tell by the cover, I don't even care. But I mean, if it's somebody I'm hanging out with...
I would think maybe it came across his cassette deck at some point, but,
Yeah, because he's like, I don't know if I heard it. I'm like, you didn't hear Ritual Darkness? Like, how's that possible? What do you mean you didn't?
Well, like I said, he wasn't the main person I was in contact with. It was Ken.
So do you think Ken heard Ritual Darkness?
Yeah, we traded tapes. He even had a Rotting Christ demo, because that was, I think it was 88 or 80. It had to be 89, 88 or 89. I sent him a Rotting Christ shirt, and he sent me a Carcass. I don't remember shirt. I don't know. I gave it to Jim though. Jim has it, or Jim had it.
Yeah. What's your opinion on that? Talking about hearing demos and shit like that. As I told you about, this is years ago, but it was right when Hell's Headbangers actually started. So I would have been 16, 17, 18 at this time. But we put out the Spawn of Satan Bloodsick CD, and I've met Alex Webster and all the Cannibal guys multiple times at this point, right? And I think it was the 2003 show. Met Alex again, knew he was super cool and very talkative. We brought him a CD. And I'm like, hey, this we started a label. We just put this out. I was like, this Spawn of Satan band. This is Jim Sadis from the band Nunslaughter. He's like, oh yeah, Don Crotchley's band. And I was expelled. I was like, you know Nunslaughter? Yeah, I got the demo back in the day. And I told you that. You were like, what? Like you weren't expecting it.
I
Like he knew
pretty
you
sure-
by name,
I'm pretty
first to
sure.
last.
Well, I think we used to write when he was in Terminal Death or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Or Beyond Death, Terminal Death, and
Yeah, there's Tyrant Sin and Beyond Death. Those
Yeah,
are the two
okay,
bands.
yeah.
And then Leviathan was the band Chris Barnes was singing. It was those three bands that formed.
Yeah, I never remember writing to Leviathan. Maybe it was Tyrant Sin or whatever.
Yeah.
And but I just surprised maybe he remembered. I think that's cool. You know, those guys still seem pretty underground. So they're I don't know if I want to say popularity or their notoriety doesn't seem to have gone to their head. At least some of the interviews that I've seen.
We never know then. Nun's got a new album recorded, right?
Got a new album, yeah.
Maybe
Satanic Chaos Legions.
Maybe fucking Webster will get the Satanic Chaos Legions and be like, I want the Nun on tour with us. Imagine how cool that would be.
Yeah,
Hell,
I don't think that they. I don't know. I would be surprised if they make those kinds of decisions.
Yeah, same here. But that'd be kind of cool. So is that if Dunslaughter new album comes out here, and you got an offer to tour open up for Cannibal, is that something you would say yay or nay to?
I mean, the timing would have to be right, and I wouldn't say a definite no, but I can't say I'd run over my grandmother for it and be like, hey, sorry, Grandma, I gotta go. CC's calling. I'd be like, we'd have to see.
Yeah. Well, so this new record, what kind of like what's in store then for it? Like as far as when you think it's coming out, what is your take on it?
Well, we'd like to definitely have it out by summer. We don't really have much planned for the summer. We do got a tour in Spain. We're talking about doing a couple of dates in Germany, and then maybe.
Do you know who with?
We're doing, I think in Spain it's like Demonical and Enthroned.
Wait, the band Enthroned from Belgium?
I don't know. I can't remember what the flyer says.
Okay,
I think that was who it is.
Okay.
Yeah. We were talking about maybe doing some shows down in Chile with Deceased.
Oh no shit. Okay.
So, but none of that. Like tickets haven't come. We haven't done anything yet as far as like it's just talk right now. The Spain shows are almost definitely happening. The flyers out and everything. We're working on plane tickets and arrangements like that. But yeah, hopefully the new album will be out by the summer or fall at the latest. And 14 tracks. I think there's only 2 songs that aren't about Satan or the devil.
What are those about then? So what are they about?
The dead.
The dead. Just like sticking to the old shit. Dead Plague and Death by the Dead.
Yeah.
I Am Death.
Talking about zombies and death and stuff I'm interested in.
Now, how does it compare to better, worse, in your opinion, just what you would like and listen to compared to Red as a Color? Like, where do you think it sits on par? And, bands are always the worst critics, so your opinions aren't always the best from a fan perspective.
I think there's more. I hasten to say hits, but I think there's some stronger songs on here. Red as a Color, Ripping Death was a difficult record to start and finish, and that had to do with coming out of the gate without Jim. It was very conscious of what we were putting together and maybe a little too
well, any of the songs on Red, are any of those spilled over that Jim wrote or started writing, or was it just
quite a few. I mean,
okay.
he wrote the title unbeknownst to him, Red as a Color, Ripping Death, and then there were riffs in, I'm gonna say 6 or 8 of the songs that were his, without the information from I can't really recall, but there were some that were just like one riff that we put in a song. Some were more of his riffs together, but a different arrangement of it. I have a whole list of song titles that Jim and myself put together over a period of 18 years, and some of those song titles are actually on Satanic Chaos Legions. the one that I can think of off the top of my head was this title Christian Ruse. I thought it was I'm like, I can't fucking write anything that rhymes. Like, it's just, and this is even back when he was still alive. I kept kicking it down the road. Like, I can't write this. And then Nunslaughter wrote a song, and I was just going through the list, and I'm like, I'm going to try this again. And it just so happened that the music really kind of fit with what the lyrics. So, but yeah, his influence is still being felt even on this brand new one.
But this brand new one, none of it's written by him. This would be the first record where none of the riffs or anything did Jim write.
It's tough for me to say. I there were 2 songs that didn't make the cut. Or I think we only got 14 songs on this record. But the person that would probably know that better or best is a guitarist, Tormentor Noah. He would know, he would remember, because usually I still have actually I got almost an entire, I think I got 9 or 10 songs of riffs and songs that Jim and I wrote that are just sitting on my hard drive, and we listen to them, and it's strange, like in the writing process, you might listen to a riff and you're like, yeah, that's pretty good. You play it like 6-8 times, but then you flub something and you're like, oh, that's even better. And then somebody says, well, how about do this? And all of a sudden that riff, it's not really that riff anymore, but it's something completely different. No one would ever know it.
But the idea spawned.
But the idea came from something that
sure. I can see
seed.
That.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see. We already got the artwork together, and we're going to be hopefully looking for a label.
Artwork fits the bill.
Artwork fits the bill. It's satanic. Honestly, I can't believe like people would be like, yeah, I'm tired of listening about the songs about the devil. I mean, when
that's when you first met Craig, that's what he says you said to him.
What's that?
Whatever. What do you ask him? Well, not the first thing, but one of the first things he said. I just laughed. I was like, that's what he said. Is you asked him, yeah, so you like Nunslaughter? He's like, oh, not really. You're like, really? Don't like songs about the devil? I was like, that's what he said. He's like, dude, something like that. I was like, I can totally see him saying that. He's like, well, I do, but
we got like 300 fucking songs, and I would say 280 of them.
You got a song literally called "The Devil."
The Devil, yeah. We should really redo that one.
100%. I agree. That's kind of a real. That's not your best song, but it's a really good one, I think.
Yeah, there's the other one. I think that's on the same one. It's called "Murder by the Stake." It's about vampires, and so that's kind of dead stuff. And the recording is so muddy, it's tough to tell what's going on. Those would be something that like the bonus disc on Angelic Dread, I'd like to do, another 15, 16, 18 songs of old 7-inch songs. Now it sounds good.
Yeah, just different. Yeah.
That's down the road. Who knows if I'll live that long.
You got what, 5 left? Dead and 10 according to fucking Red. That was you got about 7 left?
I got 5, maybe 5 left.
5 left?
Yeah. But we did add Dead and 10 to the set. So on this tour.
Whose idea was it for Dead and 10? Who came up with that title?
I don't know, man. It just came.
It was technically a collab before. That's how to get credits. It should have been song title written by Dawn of the Dead, J-Dawg, and Matt Harvey. It was at the Exhume show.
Yeah, I remember that.
We're all in the room, but I was like, dude, because you're like, oh, dude, I'm Dead in 10. I'm like, dude, that's a fucking Nunslaughter song right there. And even Matt Harvey's like, dude, that would be a good song title.
We actually just talked through another person. This guy in the band called Traffic Death. We're talking about doing a 4-way split.
Yeah, they did a split with Lurking Corpses.
Yeah, so it's Traffic Death, Exhumed, Nunslaughter, and I think Molder.
No shit, that'd be cool.
I think it was Molder. Maybe it was, but it was at least those 3 bands.
You like Molder, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Great death metal. I mean, that's the thing. See, so many bands want to they venture away from like death metal or would be considered simplistic death metal, and they're right in my wheelhouse. I mean,
so the kids of today, they're looking to get into newer bands and say, who's a newer death metal band to check out? You'd be like, I would definitely recommend that.
I would definitely recommend Molder too. And some of the other bands that I was never big on like the Swedish sound, you know.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
that's
think
kind of
you didn't like it always because you said you liked Left Hand Path, and you're like after that the shit all just sounded the same.
yeah. I mean, I really do like Left Hand Path, and I wasn't really a big fan of Clandestine or
Yeah.
Wolverine Blues. You know, that kind of, I didn't like any of that stuff, but it all sounds it's pretty good, all of it, but
It's unidentifiable, is what you're saying. It's like it's just.
I mean, unless you're in my opinion, like a super fan, if you're playing one of the band's, you know, maybe lesser known songs, or you know, and it's, you know, and the biggest Swedish death metal fan comes in and walks in the room, you're like, who is this? And I'm like, could be this, could be that, could be, kind of sounds like, and you're like, yeah, exactly. You don't know. You don't know.
God.
I mean, somebody could be here playing fucking INRI Sarcophago down the street. I'd be like, holy shit.
What?
You like Sarcophago? I mean, I fucking know.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I mean, you flip on Rotting, and nobody knows that shit.
Yeah, you agree. Isn't Rotting a turd? Dude, Sexual Mania going down the pants?
Dude,
that's a big D set.
Right.
Dude, Purple Pants, Sexual Mania going down? Like,
what's going on? Yeah, it'd be like that, and maybe Cold Lake, like go on tour and just gay it up all together.
Yeah, but dude, I call that shit out, and people like code the comments like I'm the idiot.
Well,
like, what do you mean?
It's because they don't know.
No, but here's the thing: is like, it's one thing if you like that. What I always thought is, because I obviously I know some people like it, but you always came and you clarified, I like it, but I realize it's a guilty pleasure. You would think so. You didn't bust someone's balls like, what do you mean you didn't like that one? Yeah. And that's what they do. Like, they're literally appalled, and like I've never heard that before. I've never heard Cold Lake sucks in my life. Who said that?
Oh, like, my God, yeah. Somebody.
That's what they say. I'm like, what?
Somebody was like, I don't think they maybe ever heard an Unsalted before, but they commented on one of the Instagram. It's like, oh, kind of sounds like you kind of sound like Millie from Creator, and I'm thinking like, I hope it's not fucking Endorama. Oh, fuck me, dude. I mean, you know, okay, I'll give you a Pleasure to Kill. Okay, thank you. You know, what's the third one? Terrible Certainty. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy about that one either. But Endorama, like, dude, that's literally like dancing with like Depeche Mode.
So who got worse? Cure. Who got worse then? Creator or Destruction?
Oh, Destruction, definitely. Yeah. Okay. I mean, for a longer period of time too. I mean, just
dude, I finally
My Sharona.
Dude, finally for the first time, I listened to the first non-Schmear record. That's Cracked Brain.
Yeah, that's the one with My Sharona.
Oh, dude, I put on the shop. I'm like, this is a joke. I was like, this is terrible.
Try that one with the More Fun Than a Human Cannibal. Or
I knew. I knew that was recognized. Nobody likes that.
Oh my God!
To the fans, to all the fan base, I don't think anybody likes that. But Cracked Brain, like, it's legitimately.
They put it out. I mean,
no, I know, but I mean, I think because, for example, we got it restocked. I think it's a bootleg though. Don't quote me on it. It's just a CD. But like Cracked Brain, like, it's released and re-released. And I'm like, I never listened to it because I just assumed it sucked. And sure enough, I'm like, this doesn't just suck. This really blows.
Some people even like the comeback records, and they're better than the Human Cannibal or whatever. But like it
sounds nothing like.
It doesn't sound anything. Like, it's almost as if whoever wrote the riffs on that record, on their new record, didn't listen to anything from the first three albums or three releases. Like, what are you doing?
It's funny because I used you as an example when I was talking about later Destruction and later Creator, because some people were busting my balls. They're like, yeah, but dude, you rip on people that don't like the 90s albums by Merciful Fate or King Diamond, like, because you like those, but you're ripping on people that like the 90s and 2000s albums by Creator and Destruction. I'm like, here's the difference of what you're not misunderstanding. I was like, put it to you this way. I'll use an unbiased source. I was like, Dawn of the Dead. I was like, I know for a fact doesn't like any 90s albums by Merciful Fate, King Diamond, Creator, or Destruction. Here's the difference. If he walked in the room at the shop and I'm playing any 90s album by Destruction or Creator, he walks in, I said, who are we listening to? He'd be like, I have no idea. Because it doesn't sound like the same band. I was like, if I was playing any of the 90s Merciful Fate or King Diamond albums, I already know his exact line is. He walks in the room, oh, you got King D playing. He at least can identify it because you can at least tell who the fucking band is. I was like, the reason why I'm ripping on Creator, I was like, you literally aren't even the same band. It doesn't sound anything like what you set out to do. Right. That's the difference.
And that was the magic of the '80s, and I watched that interview that you did with the Al out in Arizona.
Yeah.
And,
This newest one.
Yeah. So and he brought it up in a roundabout way. It was what I've been saying. Like the problem for me in the '90s, and that's basically the era that he was talking about. You know, when Eric was signing all those bands, was that there was a influx of money, and that's what like. A lot of people worship these bands that are absolute garbage, but they came out on either Earache or Relapse, and it was because there was such a push.
Yeah.
There was nothing. There was nothing loaded up, ready to shoot at people, so they had to just go out and make bands up like you're good enough. You know, oh, you're breathing, awesome, and they just.
Who's a band from the '90s that, in your opinion? Not that you just don't like. You could easily find a band that would be easy for you to. Who's a band you're like, this is such utter dog shit that I don't understand how people like, but lots of people do. Who would be an example?
I don't know a lot. I mean, like there's a lot of stuff from Florida. Lawnmower Death.
But is that's not a '90s band, is it?
They got most of the guys from in all Florida death metal bands singing on it. Tardy and whoever those other guys are, but I mean, it's like an all-star idiot fest. It's terrible music. Mm-hmm. I mean, here's I'll put it to you this way, and I don't even know necessarily when it comes. The first Goat Lord, absolute ass.
Because you like just the first demo.
I love the first demo. Second demo was okay, but it does sound kind of dumb. And then
what's the album called? Is that the
Solstice?
Yeah, okay.
Reflections of the Solstice.
Something
That's
like
what it
that,
is, yeah. And that is, in my opinion, absolute flush the toilet garbage. The sound on it, nothing about it is good. Just garbage. And some people like it.
So what is your take, too? You're the only person that agrees with me on this. Autopsy, anything after the first album. What is it? It's just boredom, is it not?
They slowed down too much. There was more. I don't want to say rock. The first album had like just it rocked a little more. They just slowed everything way down, just too much. Yeah, it's.
But when you first heard that, because I'm sure you heard the year it came out, were you just like, this is boring? That's what my take was. I was like, it sounds cool. So I was like, I'm just bored.
Yes, yeah, because the Reiferd's voice always sounds great.
100%, I agree.
He is like one of the captains of what somebody says, what does a death metal vocalist sound like? You know, like here's Chris Reiferd. You know, I mean that because he's articulable, but he's heavy.
So who's better then? Cam Lee, prime evil Chuck, not gay boy Chuck, and fucking or Reiferd
in their prime.
Yeah.
Cam Lee.
Okay. Yeah. Who created the death metal growl?
Well, I mean, I go back. You know, it vacillates between a few people, but I mean, I got to give it up to Cam. I mean, that was the person for me. That's the person that I heard, and I just thought his
because what came out first? The first Massacre demo, 86, or Repulsion Horrified, because that was recorded in 86. What would have been first? Because technically you could make the argument they're both like growling on that. Because the reason I say that, because like the Mantis demos where Cam is singing on them, I'm going to at least give those a pass and exclude those, because the recording, you can't tell if he's growling or barking. You kind of can't say. But you could distinguishably say on the first Massacre, like those are literally growling vocals.
So, but even though, I mean, I absolutely love Repulsion demo, he didn't quite have the.
It's kind of barking too.
What would be the kind of the little plus that Cam Lee gives to death metal vocals? It was there. Great voice. I mean, my voice is probably closer to Scott's than it is to Cam's. Mm-hmm. But that's why I got to say for Cam, he gave it that something, a little something extra that made it like this is death metal. Like this is going to be death metal. Because I mean, even though like that Genocide, I called that death metal, but you know now it's called grind. I don't fucking know. It was all death. It was all under the. I mean, even like geez, even back in the day, like Darkness Descends and stuff, I just called it death metal.
Oh, really? Back then, like, you did?
Yeah, because a lot of the thrash stuff was just like, it was just limp dick. So
speaking of limp dick, as you guys are throwing out there, and it's got brought up, and people again fucking jumping down my throat like I'm the biggest, like, worst takes on the fucking plot, just most outlandish takes I've ever heard. Exodus, After Bottom by Blood, Souza.
No, I didn't like anything he did.
Now, what's the reason you guys? You did, Kanye did, even my brother Craig. I just wasn't much of a fan of those later Exoduses, but I never understood why you guys thought Souza as a singer was that bad. Like, what was the reason? Like,
so I think a couple of things. One, Bailoff was so good. Like, if you're going to get somebody, get someone better. You know, I mean, someone that minimally is as good. It doesn't even need to sound like him. I mean, like, look at, here's a good example, like, Accept. You know, even though Udo left, they did get another singer who is comparable. Like, he actually does sound like Udo. I can't remember his name, but well, I've listened to the later Accept, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I hear you. I can't remember those guys' names either.
But it's actually still pretty good. Like, as a whole, the whole band, it still sounds like Accept, and now you've got somebody who's kind of very much similar to Udo. But it almost seemed like they took, like, oh, well, Bailoff, he's gone. Who do we want? How about that guy? And he's like, yeah, you want me to sing for you? And he's like, yeah, sure, come on. And he started singing, and you're like, why would you let that dude? Like,
so when you got Pleasures of the Flesh, that's obviously the first
I did not.
Oh, well, how did you hear it then?
Somebody played it for me, and I knew to steer fucking far away from it.
Did you just say, this sucks? Like, when you first heard it?
Yeah. Couldn't even get through it. And then with the waltzing and the what's that? The Force of Habit. Did you ever listen to that one?
I don't know.
Oh my Lord!
Because somebody asked me a question. They're like, "Dude, how do you not like the Chris Cook albums?" Or some guy singing. I'm like, who? I was like, I didn't even make it that far.
I watched that one. Either the comments or whoever said, you know, oh, you gotta check out that shovel-headed Death Machine or whatever it is, that singer on there. Uh-huh. And I was like, I'll give it a spin.
Is that good?
I mean, it's like high school thrash, and it's I don't necessarily have a bad opinion about the singer. He's played in some other bands and they're horrible names, like I can't remember, but they're really stupid death metal bands, like the Baker's Dozen, you know, and you're like, this
why would I even listen to this?
Right, and but songwriting, it's almost like no one in the band went back and listened to, Bonded by Blood. The speed picking and the down picking, it just isn't there. I don't understand, you know.
And would you agree too? Because I think it was on that same video, whether regardless of Exodus or not. But when you have a line like, "We used to do the monkey, but now it's not cool," don't you agree? Like, I don't even want to like this.
Right. Yeah. In fact, I mean, I don't want to like Exciter Unveiling the Wicked, but Hate School Rules is not the best. I mean, it isn't good, but I love that record. The music outshines the crappiness of the lyrics. You got a 30-year-old man saying he hates school rules. What school?
Yeah, you've been out for years.
Like a trade school? I don't, you know, and
dude, you got to do a mock-up of that and maybe similar style. You know how songs are like, kind of like Satanic Threat. We didn't rip off riffs, but you're doing something, do a Nunslaughter song. I think that'd be a cool parody, similar song to I Hate School Rules, the I Hate Christ Rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But similar song structures like that, but a death metal song. I think that'd be cool. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, it's all, it doesn't matter. I mean, in the end, people like whatever they like, you know. I mean, if you're sitting around listening to Megadeth and then you hear that shovelhead,
shovelhead machine,
whatever that is, you know, I think you'll probably be like, holy hell. Now this is heavy, you know, because nobody thinks Megadeth's heavy.
They do know. That's the thing. I say it. I call them whip to death, dude.
Oh my god, dude!
Megadeth to me is the weakest thrash band in existence.
But that's the people that, you know, they were happy that Pantera and Black Sabbath were on tour together. I mean, like, and those are the same people because they're like, hell of a bill. No,
hell of a bill.
It isn't. It's not good. You know, you got to sit through that shit. And but yeah, it's, you know, those are the people that think.
Did you know anybody back, especially like in the, let's say even 90s? So the time before Hell's and Holy Fire's out, you know, you're around the time you're doing Impale the Soul of Christ demos, just like that. People that were in the underground metal. Did you know anybody that likes Pantera?
No. In fact, it was a joke because those albums used to come in to IDES, the power metal and Suck Up the Night, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. And you know, you'd be like this, okay, and you flip it over, and you're like, no, you can't. You know, I mean, you just can't. I can't do it. And then it wasn't. I mean, it was. You know, it was years later. I don't remember what kind of how it all. I don't remember the timeline or anything. But then, you know, you start hearing, you know, like, oh man, you know, a lot of the people that are sitting around, you know, like, you know, jamming, you know, they're like, they got their Led Zeppelin and the Doors records, and they're just like, yeah, it's fucking new Pantera band. And I'm like, is it the same? Like, is it the same? Like, did they really fuck up and make two bands called that? Like, yeah. And so I'm looking and I'm like, well, yeah, Diamond Daryl's here, and this guy's called Dimebag. It's got to be the same bunch of weirdos. And I was just like, and then, you know,
so when you heard the tough guy shit, because you were initially talking at the glam stuff, but when you finally heard the tough guy stuff, the arm behind the back stuff, what was your take on that kind of music?
Garbage. Just I never liked that knuckle dragon type of bull. I never got into it. I mean, and
you agree their fan base is absolutely just piss ass fucking annoying too, right?
Yeah. I mean,
like you wouldn't be caught dead hanging around them.
Well, Jim was a fan of Pantera.
He liked the glam shit.
No, he liked the walk and stuff. All
he
that.
never once mentioned that to me ever. He
did.
Okay, well then he kept on the DL because he knew it was embarrassing as fuck.
Probably, but yeah, he did. He liked that stuff, but he was into that, you know.
But at the same time, because he liked a lot of hardcore and like that. Well, even look at Schnauzer.
Yeah,
kind of like
Schnauzer
he called it the pissed off riff.
Yeah,
he likes that where it's kind of like. So I guess, but I've never seen him mention Pantera in my life.
Yeah.
Because when I bring it up on mine, I'm like, dude, you gotta understand, man. Like growing up, like that was considered a commercial, like poser band. Like nobody brought that shit up.
Plus, the thing is, people are getting confused between metal, death metal, and underground death metal.
Yeah,
and granted, I'm not here to draw definitive lines, but you know, it's like, especially growing up, I like to think of myself as someone who really embraced the underground, and the underground consisted of, you don't have a record out. So, you know, I would listen to these bands, I would buy these bands merchandise, I would buy their cassettes, I would write them, I would, you know, embrace them wholly. And then kind of once they got that first record out, because usually that's the big one, because they've got demo songs that they've been working on for years, and it's right, and it's a lot of songs that I've already been listening to, and they're doing it well. And then once they do that first album, it's kind of like you just kind of hand it off to the rest of the metal community. And then I go back into the underground. I start looking for other bands that maybe aren't as popular, or that just need that one little push, or that maybe that fan or somebody else to talk about it or hand a tape. And then once that band goes, and then I go back to the underground. And so it's like, you know, I didn't get in super early. And of course you can't know everything because this is pre-internet shit. So, you know, I do like some of the albums, but like even back to like Destruction, that what's that third one, that the green cover with that guy with the
Mad Butcher?
No, with guy holding with eyes on his hands.
Is that the Cracked Brain? That's all.
No, that's not Cracked Brain. It's
Eternal Devastation?
No, it's after that.
There's Mad Butcher, Eternal Devastation, Non-Infernal Overkill, Sentence of Death. I don't know. What am I?
It's a green cover with the stupidest looking alien on it with his hands up like this. I think that's
Cracked Brain.
That isn't Cracked Brain. It isn't. Cracked Brain has a guy on the front. It's very colorful, and it's got a guy with a brain that's cracked.
Oh yeah, okay. I can't think of what it is because I only like.
But anyway, that record there, that was the one that that like I heard it and I'm like, all of a sudden they're trying something new. And back to what Al was saying, there was money in it to be made. When you're making your fucking demo, you're not thinking like, oh, I'm going to get $1 million, or I'm going to make money at this. And then, you know, even the first and second record, that was in the 80s. They're still they're doing it. It's fun. But then you start getting the ideas, grandiose ideas about money and fame and fortune, and you know, I might not even have to get a real job. And you go out and you start making these more commercial, and they're noticeably commercial. I mean, that Cold Lake or whatever it is, that's noticeably commercial. It's the cash grab. It's what he wanted, you know. And people don't remember that there were interviews in print zines where he not only denounced Hellhammer and his not necessarily his involvement, but the importance of Hellhammer. He outright said, "This is garbage. I can't believe you listen to that garbage." But now's the time to make money at it. So now he's a fan.
That's why he did the Triumph of Death.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, there's not necessarily anything wrong with it, but you have to see it for what it is.
Yeah.
You know, because there's people out there that are thinking like, he's still hardcore motherfucker.
I know,
He
exactly.
isn't.
No, he's totally not.
He's got a little accountant hat on. He's happy, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying you have to be aware of it.
Yeah.
You know, people don't see that, and I guess there's nothing wrong with that's what they want for them. That isn't what I want for me. Mm-hmm. I'm not a GoFundMe person.
Yeah.
You know, say, hey, we need new gear. You know, can you chip in $10? You know, I'm not, come on, dude. You know, just pay for it yourself. You're a man. You got a job. Go fucking work.
Yeah.
Go and do it for the passion. You know, rather than the paycheck.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are quite a few people that get both. They still have the passion and they get a paycheck, and I'm happy for them. But yeah, the money, the influx of money in the '90s, it collapsed the music scene so badly. But people don't realize that. You know, they're buying whatever records that are being thrown at them because nobody wants to research about the demos. You know, you get all these bands that, you know, all of us. I can't mention any names, but none really come to me. But you know, all of a sudden they come out and they're more popular than sliced bread, and you're like, but what did they do? Like they didn't do anything, and you know why they're doing it. They're not doing it because it's in here. It's in their pocket. It's in their wallet. Somebody gave them money to go and do it. But that's,
so you're not paying. Would you pay money a ticket to go see I Am Morbid?
I would expect Dave to rip me off a hundo, and I'd watch him.
If
he gave me money, I'd watch him.
Because people ask me, "Dog, you going to I Am Morbid?" I was like, "How much are they paying?"
Yeah,
that was I got a text from a couple friends.
Literally,
actually, even Ethnar, he texted me, "You going to that I Am Morbid?" I'm like, "How much is it paying?"
Yeah,
he just starts laughing. I'm like, "Dude, like, there's no way I'm paying a ticket for that. Like, zero chance. I won't even go for free."
No, I mean, unless he's sending me a limo. A blowjob, not from him, but you know, and maybe some food and beer and $100, I'll come see your band. But that's garbage. It's
that's as cash grab as it gets.
Oh, dude, well, he's got to afford his girdles. I can't.
Yeah. They got to pay for that too.
Evil D.
Evil D.
Oh my God. Nobody knows that. Like, oh my God, do some research. People don't know about it.
Funny too, not to throw, because we were talking at dinner. Granted, he didn't want to go into depth because we were talking about stuff. We were talking about Morbid Angel and stuff, and Dave got brought up, and Eric Gall's like, "Well," he's like, "Do you know the backstory about the whole Dave?" I'm like, "Oh, you mean Gay Dave, the blowjob, the gay porn?" He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Yep, you're up to par."
Up to speed.
Yeah, you're up to speed. Exactly. I swear to God, it's exactly what he said. Oh yeah, you're up to speed.
But the thing with
because he wasn't sure if I knew. I was like, oh yeah,
especially
totally
with that band I Am Morbid, but he isn't.
I know.
That's what I don't understand. I mean, that's like me doing a band called I Am Creator. I mean, it's not. I'm not. Yeah. I might want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm not.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's. I am. It would be. I am riding on coattails. That would be another one.
Right. Yeah.
But no, it's
yeah.
I don't give him,
because it don't get much cash grab than that. I mean, that's like king cash grab.
Realistically, the only credit that I can really give him is that Thy Kingdom Come is really fucking good.
Yeah. Well, you like Terrorizer.
But he's a scab.
But he's on it. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he's on it. But I mean, he did help. From what I understand, he helped get Terrorizer signed. But he was Garvey was stuck in California. I don't know if he couldn't leave or family. I don't know what the deal was. But then they showed up. They had somebody to record, and he's like, well, I can record. I mean, that's like me saddling up to Mustaine and being like, let me in there on bass. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, well, we got no one else. I guess it's you.
Yeah. Exodus let So's in.
Yeah,
just grab the guy from the bar. Let's grab him.
He'll do.
He's got long hair. He only got the bar. He's got long hair.
Did he? I don't know.
But I'm just saying.
He could have been a paper boy. I don't know.
Paper boy.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, so to start us off, we're over an hour. Nunslaughter tour. When's the goddamn start?
That's a lot of fucking interview.
Yeah.
January 31st in Washington, D.C.
And then, do you know what the second date is?
Boston.
And what's the last one then?
The last one is North Carolina.
You know what date that is? Does that fit February yet? Or
well, January 31st is the first one. So, February, I don't know, 16th or 17th or something in North Carolina.
Okay,
but
cool.
I didn't think we were taking up. See, here's the nobody understands. This is how conversations usually go, and this could go for hours. Just
100%. So just get it on goddamn camera, right?
Might as well.
All right, D. Anything else left to put in there?
No. Hope to see you on tour. If you can, come up, buy merchandise from all the other bands. That'll help us get to the next gig and pay for hotels and food and all that good stuff. But see you on tour.
Be there or be dead. Later, goddammit.